We now have Bryan from INcubes. He's director and as well as a connector in residence. He's also founder, president of EP Enterprises, a consulting company which helps companies from inception to exit. He's been executive director at National Angels Capital Organization, a director of Canadian Advanced Technology Alliance, and he's the interim managing director of Cleantech North. Let's welcome Bryan to make his presentation.
So one of the fun things about having a W last name is that if you're going alphabetically, you get to be last before dinner, which I can smell. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly for you. And apologies if my voice cuts out, just getting over a bit of a cold. So as I mentioned, my name is Bryan Watson. I just joined the INcubes team in January, and happy to tell you a little bit more about it. My background, I've been involved in a number of early stage companies. Advisor to a lot of companies over the years, whether it be over a cup of coffee or for a more prolonged engagement. Sat on a number of boards, helped build the angel community over the last 7 or so years, created angel groups across Ontario, which is an interesting ecosystem because going back about 7 years, there were no angel groups left in Ontario. The last one was in the process of folding. So this is a really new ecosystem that is being created. Groups like Maple Leaf Angels, York Angels, the Golden Triangle Angel Network that works with Communitech heavily, and the Ryerson Angel Network as well that works out of the DMZ. So been involved in the capital and company ecosystem for quite a long time. As Lily mentioned, left the National Angel Capital Organization in November and took over the consortium of Cleantech companies, Cleantech North, and continue to run something called Startup Drinks, which happens monthly in Toronto. And I see quite a few faces from Startup Drinks over the years. Usually we get actually. It's been very busy, and I think that talks to the overall Toronto ecosystem. Since the beginning of this year, no one of the events has had under 300 entrepreneurs and investors there. So it's just really indicative of the frothing entrepreneurial ecosystem that's in Toronto right now. It's quite exciting. So a little bit of history and background on INcubes. INcubes was founded in 2011, the first cohort by angel investor Ben Zlotnick, whose background is more in traditional industries, though he'd been involved in a couple of software companies and thought that there was probably a better way to help invest in companies while also helping them. He founded it in the end of 2011 and engaged Travis Corey, the managing director there. First cohort graduated in February 2012. Second cohort graduated in September 2012 at the TSX building there. I joined at the beginning of this year in January, and have been involved in doing it quite a bit since, with my role being one of connecting the companies to the ecosystem, connecting INcubes to the entrepreneurial ecosystem. A lot of the different funding groups. Funding groups, be they angel, venture, customers, what have you. So it's been a lot of fun. We just had our demo day in February 28th, and graduated 3 companies. And our process, similar to most of the other accelerators out there, we have an intake process, a call for companies. We go out, we seek companies out through our networks, but we also have an open call for companies. And we found actually one of our most successful companies in the last cohort was from that open call. They actually came up from the Cayman Islands to join us here in Toronto. So originally Canadians, but we were able to repatriate them because they wanted to be part of that Toronto ecosystem and build the company here. So nice story there, and they're actually doing very well so far, so we're really proud of them. I'll talk about the pipeline in a few minutes, but we go through call for companies, a selection process. Apparently these are timed. We incubate the companies, accelerate them, and develop those companies over a 3-month period, and then launch the companies at a demo day, similar to Hyperdrive or Extreme. And then we keep our companies around often. If they're still in the ecosystem, some of them will stay in the office. We do find that there is that synergy for having those companies stay around in the accelerator. So as long as we've got the space, they can stick around, leverage the resources, leverage the mentorship for the companies that are coming in through the next cohort, and the people that are coming in to meet them. Quick snapshot of our portfolio. There's about 12 companies in the portfolio. The last intake was what graduated in February 28th, with top that Leaders for Not-for-Profits and Videogami. Top that being a social competition platform. Leaders for Not-for-Profits being a eHarmony meets board of directors members for not-for-profit companies, and Videogami being a educational layer for videos and educational toys. So we're happy with those companies, and they're continuing to grow. Leadership team, just very quickly, I've mentioned Ben Zlotnick, I've mentioned myself. Travis Corey focuses on the business development and the curriculum and working with the startups and the mentors. And Robin Whitall focuses just on the administration of the accelerator as a whole, as well as all the PR communications and getting the buzz going. In terms of mentors, we've got about 80 mentors that work with INcubes. They are split sort of between ad hoc mentors, which we refer to as sort of our shock troops. They come in, they drop in, they work with companies on certain problems, be they public relations, search engine optimization. They're very focused mentors. We have other mentors that are working with the companies on an ongoing basis. They're meeting with the companies regularly, once, twice a week. And those are core mentors that really spend a lot of time with our companies, and we can't thank enough, because it's a lot of work, but they generally enjoy it. Some of them are investors. They're looking for investments, and this is a really good way for them to get to know which companies and which teams work well together and are good bets to go forward with. Just quickly about our program selection and support. Program is a 3-month program, 12-week structured, mentor-centric program based on a curriculum that focuses on the business, product, and investment side of things. We'll touch on that in a minute. It does culminate in a demo day, and we do continue to support the companies with introductions and resources after graduation, and we do take an equity stake in the companies. Program, as I mentioned, is focused in the first month on the business side of things. And that's everything from getting the corporate structure correct. A lot of companies, when they come in, are not necessarily set up in an optimal way to accept investment from an outside investor. They don't necessarily have the right share structure in place. So we do a deep dive into the functional, the core of the company, as well as the strategy of the company going forward in the first month. Second month, we focus on the product and the marketing and branding that goes around the product. So this is everything from working with the company on the user interface to working on the marketing materials that they use to promote the product, the website, all of that infrastructure. We work with them to take it usually from a prototype or minimum viable product to an actual product that can be taken to market, and in many cases is taken to market at that point. Third month, we focus on the investment side of things. Here we're cleaning up the last bits of the legal side, if there is anything, getting everything basically spit polished for the investors so that the companies are ready to go out and should be showcased. We're working on their investment packages, we're working on their pitches, and believe me, we work their pitches often and very hard. We've got a lot of mentors that come in, like Matt, to give feedback on how they're communicating their value to investors, so that when they do get up on stage on demo day, they are prepared, and they've done it many, many times. Of course, we keep the companies around. They graduate into the portfolio, and they become family. Pipeline, typically we have between 200 and 300 companies that apply per cohort. It is an open application. The applications are fairly simple, and I'll talk about the process in a second. Those companies are then, through a similar interview process, taken down to about the 40-50 company range that are brought in for interviews to discuss what the team is and to see if they are an actual good fit for the INcubes family. That is then taken to about 4 to 8 companies. We did have 4 companies in the last cohort, and like Sunil, we're willing to put bullets in the heads. If the companies aren't willing to put the work in, we'll kick them out, because it's not fair to the other companies in that cohort to waste resources on those that aren't committed to making the company successful. We had a great company, but in the last cohort that we asked to apply again later because they just weren't committed yet. And that's fine, just amicable, but in the end, we want those that are really committed to succeed. And we'll spend the resources on those that do. Next intake, we are looking to have between 6 and 12 companies participate. Selection process, initially a simple online application, who you are, what the company is, and just a little bit about that company so that we can get a sense of what the company is. If that makes sense, we'll go to a full application process, which is much more in-depth. It's who you are, what your background is, what the technology is that the company is based on, what the value proposition for that technology is. Really a deep dive, more of the business plan side of things that you'd be submitting in that full application. That application is reviewed and due diligence is conducted on it, as mentioned, and we select the companies that will enter the portfolio. What we're looking for, generally the companies that we've taken in are web or software based. Web or software based, they all have a unique selling proposition, which really isn't news. We're all looking for companies, as all these accelerators are. But we're looking for companies that have something unique about them. And then we look for what I call the three T's, which is team, technology, and traction. Team, the biggest reason that these companies fail is the team doesn't work. The founders split up, they have fights, they can't deliver on what they were setting out to do. They don't have the right people to run the company. So we really spent a lot of time looking at the team and trying to figure out if these are the right people to deliver this to the market. And we are looking to have a well-rounded team. We generally don't look at one-person shops. It's just not enough. We're looking for something with a little bit more meat to it. Technology, we're looking for companies that have passed the idea phase, have an early minimum viable product, or at least a prototype that's there, and ideally something that has a little bit of intellectual property, though there are exceptions to that because in the web and software space, IP is sometimes a little bit difficult to obtain. Traction, what we're looking for here is evidence that the market has or will accept your product. And that could be early stage alpha users, it could be early stage customers that you've bounced the idea off of, and bounced the technology off of, and they validated that this is something that they'd be interested in. But it's that sort of validation that we're looking for in the companies that come into the portfolio. What do the companies get? They get offices, office boardroom space for the team, administrative support, 30-plus services ranging from legal to PR, search engine optimization, development time, a whole slew of different services, hosting, various different things to help build those companies. We have 80-plus mentors that are working with them. The estimate from the last cohort is that they're spending about 100-plus mentor hours with the companies over that 3-month period. So it is fairly intensive in terms of the time that they're spending. And they get access to our network of Canadian, US, international customers, angel investors, VCs, and other stakeholders that make sense. And we will proactively go out looking for partners for our portfolio companies to help them engage with them and leverage our brand to attract customers and investors for them. A quick snapshot of demo day on February 28th. We had one of our companies that had secured Venture Start funding. Thank you to FedDev for that. Showcase there, Hoverit, they're doing very well. 3 companies that I mentioned graduated in that portfolio. About 300 investors, VCs, and other stakeholders. were in attendance, and we had Brad Feld, the founder of Techstars and the Foundry Group, as our keynote speaker. So we quite enjoyed that, and so far it looks like about $250,000 of investment will probably come out of that event that we know of so far, and that seems to be climbing, so we're pretty pleased. Quickly, just because I thought it would be interesting to get the feedback from one of our companies in terms of what they found of value from INcubes and from being part of INcubes. A quick note from the guys at Hover. Asked them for a couple points of, as I say, what they found of value. What they found most valuable was, go figure, the connection to investors. Met with 100 angels and VCs from across North America, and are currently in talks with them for closing a round, so that's great. They got a lot of exposure from Demo Day and through our media channels. As Sunil said, one of the things that we can do is amplify the noise that the companies in our portfolio can make on their own, using our brand, using our channels. So if we can help them get out there into the media more, get more hits, that's something that we tried very hard to do. We helped them recreate the corporate structure and build all their contracts that they ended up using to secure their first customers. We introduced them to their first customer, which we always find helpful. We prefer revenues to follow an investment if possible anyway, so we work very hard on the customer side if we can to introduce them. And we help them structure the board of advisors. So just a little snapshot of one of the companies that's in the INcubes family. And if you want to get involved, the point that probably makes the most sense is the one at the bottom, which is applying to join INcubes. We are taking applications for intake number 4 now. We haven't announced it with any great fanfare yet, but they are open, and we're looking to start the next cohort in June. Thank you.
Thank you, Bryan. Any question?
Sorry, on your first slide, you showed 7.5% as the equity
yes.
that INcubes takes. How much funding do you provide? Is that fixed or is it variable?
So we're unique, probably in the Toronto ecosystem. So in our case, there is no funding that's attached to that. So we do take companies that are interested in the resources, the mentorship, the customer links, more than just the funding. That is something that will probably change over the next little bit, but at this point, there's no funding that's linked to that company.
Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you.